Hey, how's it going, everyone? So what am I working on now? Well, I got a GMC Sierra. I'm pretty sure this is a 4.3 V6. I think we sold this vehicle a couple months back. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is the one we sold. The complaint from the customer is occasionally it has a hard time starting it. Exactly what does that mean? I don't know. Hard time starting it, like does it crank and not start? Who knows? Another complaint he has is when driving down the road, sometimes he says it feels like he gives it throttle and he gets no response out of it. Like it doesn't want to go anywhere. Now this is a 4.3 liter, so this isn't drive-by-wire. This actually has a throttle cable. I believe this thing's an 04. I'll find out when I hook up the scanner. But let's try starting it and see what it does. So here we go. Actually, let me shut my light off. Let's see what it does. I'm not sure when he dropped it off. Give a little labored start. Nothing dramatic. The lights aren't flickering, it's just how it appears through the camera. There's no check engine light, no nothing. Let me hook my scanner up. I got it right here. Let me hook it up and let's see what we got. Whoop. The idle just stumbled. I don't know if you heard that. It like dropped and came back. Oops, see, there it did it again. I wonder what that could be. All right, let's see. Will this self-populate? Let's find out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Come on, let's go. It's still doing it. It's still doing that surge. I wonder why. All right, so yeah, it is a 2004 and it is a 4.3 like I said. So let's just see, just out of curiosity, if there's any codes in the engine. Automatic tranny. No codes. All right. So I'm going to take this thing for a ride and see. Let's just see. Got no codes at all. So let's go to data. Fuel trim, maybe. I want to see the mass air sensor. Sometimes mass airflow meters can wreak havoc on these things. Fuel trims are perfect. O2s, yeah, everything's reading good. Evap is venting. IAC, okay. Coolant, okay. Startup ECT, see that? -20. You see that, right? That's a -20. Okay, that tells me something right there. The startup engine coolant temperature being -20, that's a problem. So is it a problem with the sensor itself? Intake air is reading good. Mass air, I'm not 100% certain what it's supposed to read. I got to look up specifics for that. But yeah, that right there, -20, that's an issue. That -20 is definitely an issue. So him saying he gets no throttle response, it's very possible when driving down the road, if that coolant temperature is going askew, like to that -20, while driving, that could definitely screw up, you know, the fuel, the fueling of the motor, the fuel trims and stuff like that. But it's funny that the fuel trims are showing normal. Let me take this thing for a ride and see if I see anything, and then I'll report back. You're not going to go with me for our road test. It's such a waste of time. So let me do that, and let's see what I wind up with. All right, so I haven't driven it yet. I just moved the truck in the parking lot. But one thing I did notice on a couple of occasions when I'm trying to start it, the coolant temperature reading goes really batty. Let me show you. Let me see if I can make it happen for you. All right, so let me pull this back up onto... I'll leave it there. So let's see if it does. See, now it's all reading. Oh, darn it. I did it too long. Hold on. I got to scroll back down. But I actually got it down to negative 34 one time, just cranking it like that. So let's try that again. Let's just see. So as you see, actually let me highlight it just so it's easier to see. 177. That's current coolant temperature. See, it went down to 104. Did you catch that? Oh, 84. Okay, see, it shouldn't do that. Something's askew. Something's wrong. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go underneath the hood. I'm going to disconnect the sensor. I want to see what happens, what changes I get. It's possible I just got a bad connection at the sensor, and while it's cranking and vibrating like that, that it's doing something odd. But let's pop the hood. Let's go under the hood and see. 4.3, it shouldn't be too difficult. I believe it's on the left head. Let's see. Should be right back there. Yeah, it's back there. You can see the silver, like aluminum foil wrap on it. So let me see what kind of a connector that has. It should have. Ooh, manifold's hot. All right, let me reach down there and try to disconnect that. So let me do that first. I got to use both hands. No, I got it popped off. I think that's just from when I pulled it off and I hit the manifold. It's just some dirt that's on there, I think. But let me tuck this off to the side because I don't want it to burn up on the exhaust manifold. So let me tuck this off to the side. I'm going to do that and then get back on the car. But let me come off the camera here because I want to see what happens. But I just don't want it hitting the exhaust manifold in the meanwhile. There, it's tucked behind. Let's see what this thing reads now. Okay. Oops, turn the key on this one. That's not going to work. All right, so now it's reading negative 38. Of course, it's going to start rich. Yeah. Running super rich now. Yeah, the startup ECT went to 71 degrees, so I think, I don't know if we got an ECM problem or whatever. I mean, it shouldn't have gone to that. Let's see. See, that startup goes to 82. Why is it reading that? That's a good question. 86. That's weird. The only thing I could think of is maybe it's taking something with the ambient temperature and doing a calculation. That's a possible, because you see the coolant temperature still reading negative 38. That never really changes. And now it's starting okay. I am going to clean that connector, and I'm going to put a new sensor in this thing. That's all I'm going to do. All right, let's go that route and let's see what happens. Oh, actually, first, I'm going to take it for a road test because I'm going to leave it disconnected, take it for a road test to see how it acts. Because he said it would die out on the road. And if the temperature reading is going totally askew, maybe it could be going, like, when the engine gets hot, maybe it could be going, like, full into overheat, thinking it's overheating, and it's not actually. And, you know, pulling back on fuel. Anything's a possibility. So let's take it for a ride like this and see what happens. So I went on a road test. Everything was fine. It ran great. No hesitations, no stumbles. The coolant temperature stayed the same on the scanner, which tells me that it basically it went to a default mode. It was probably reading the intake air temperature and trying to figure out like some type of a number. It didn't stay at negative because then the thing had just been running way too rich. It probably uses, you know, information from the O2 sensors, as well as a mass air meter, which is the intake air temperature sensor or the ambient air temperature sensor. I use that information to try to calculate a number. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim in and put in a new connector and change the sensor itself. So here's the new connector, and I already spliced in the new ends, and I've already told you I never solder. I always use crimp connectors that are non-insulated, and then I use heat shrink like what you see here, and that's got the glue in it, so once you heat it up it glues it in and it seals it perfectly. The factory doesn't solder anything. You shouldn't either. So you can if you want to. I've never done it. Never ever had an issue, and you know, I've worked at the same dealership for 21 years and never had a comeback for anything electrical related, you know, related to what I did with a repair. Never. So yeah, so let me just show you this. So now the factory harness, it's got this aluminum foil like insulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the harness right here, so this way I can open up the sheath. I'm also going to take this off and I'm going to transfer it to the new harness, and then I'm going to just splice everything in place. So there's really no reason to sit through watching me do the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it and I'll just show you that, and then I'll put it together, show you that, and then just do that. All right, here's the old connector off. There's the new one. I slid the sheath over it. They tape it in place here. I'm not going to bother doing that because I don't have any high heat tape like that. But they use regular electrical tape underneath it and then wrap it with the high heat. So I really kind of can't do that. But anyway, so as you can see, it's got a yellow wire to one side and a black wire to the other. And in all honesty, it doesn't make a difference on a 2-wire connector. On a 2-wire connector, it's just a resistor. You can go either way. There's no difference to it. Yeah, if it was a 3-wire, yeah, then you got to worry about it, or a 4-wire or anything like that. But a 2-wire, it doesn't matter. You can go either direction. It's not going to hurt anything. So let me get this wired into that, and then let me change the sensor. There you have it. It's in place, and I'm going to slide the heat shrink down over, heat it up, and then I'm going to wrap the tubing back over it, the protective tubing. And then we're just going to switch over that sensor. Make sure if you're doing something like that, relieve pressure in the cooling system first if the motor's warm. Like this one's warm. So I already relieve pressure in it, because if you got pressure and you go to take that sensor out, you're going to get coolant spraying out and you could get burned. So you got to be careful of that. So when you relieve the pressure, put the cap back on it like I did there, because when you go to take that out, the cap will kind of hold a little bit of vacuum in the system as you pull it out, so you'll lose very little coolant. So let's get this all done. Just wanted to quickly show you, I got a 3/8 ratchet with a 19mm deep socket, 19mm or 3/4, either or, and it broke right free. You don't have to make these things bare tight when you go back in. They're tapered. You go too tight and you just jam them in there. I've seen people actually screw these things down and bottom them out, and then try to get it out next time. You can't. So there's no need to. When you're tightening it up, there is a torque spec. I don't know what it is. I'm not even going to bother checking it. But as you tighten it up, you'll feel it get snug, and you'll kind of feel it at a point where all of a sudden it starts to get tight. Stop, you're done. You don't have to go any further than that. You know, like I said, you don't have to go animal on the thing. So, all right, let's get this done, and then let's get our scanner, and let's see if I actually fix something. And there you go. The new one's in place. I lost a little more coolant than I actually anticipated, probably because the motor still got heat in it. Usually I do these things cold. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is add a little bit of coolant to it. I lost maybe a cup, but no big deal. So it's probably going to smoke a little bit because it did land on the exhaust manifold, but the wiring harness is tucked out of the way. It's not hitting anything. So let me clean up my tools. Let me add a little bit of coolant. Then let's get the scanner on this thing, and let's see what it does. All right, back in the truck. Let's see what happens. So here we go. Let me start it up. A little bit of an extended crank. It's idling smooth. So it's probably got a code in it from when I did the that's this vehicle, when I did the when I had the sensor disconnected. All right, so let's just see what we have for data first. I'm more concerned about that. Coolant 125. Well, that's good because it's showing the startup temp at 123. So let's just see. You see 127, that's current coolant temperature. Oh, damn it. Sorry, let me go back. when you shut the key off too long, it cycles back. See if I get anything weird happening there. Let me just scroll down so we have that as a reference point, because I'm going to stay on that instead. It's increasing like it's supposed to. Oh, now it's stumbling. Why is it doing that? And again. All right, I think it's okay because I would get it. It would happen like almost immediately. Remember that? Let me scroll back down so you have it as a reference. I'm gonna think it's good. All right, I think, in all honesty, that issue that it was having with the stumbling, I think that's going to be fixed with this. So I'm going to take this thing for another road test, and I'm going to see what it does. I'm going to watch the coolant temp just to see. Let me take this thing for a good little road test and see what happens. All right, I'm at the halfway point, and I'm at the church. And here we go. I shut it off and started it up a half a dozen times just now, and it seems to be perfect. You can see coolant temp is 183. Whoops. I knew that was going to happen. I shut the key off for too long. Yeah, see, 183. So, yeah. I'm going to head back to the shop, clear out the code that I put into it from disconnecting the sensor, and that's going to be it. All right. Let's head back to the shop. All right. So I'm calling this one fixed. And, you know, the coolant temperature is doing what it's supposed to. I never see it go askew like it did before. I shut it off. It starts right up. There's not an issue there. I let it sit for a few minutes, start it back up. I don't see anything on a scanner where it's dipping out like it was doing before. So I'm calling it fixed. So I got to get in touch with the customer. I need to speak to the customer, not Mo or Joe, because sometimes things get lost in translation, if you understand what I'm saying. Because they say that the customer is talking about the battery also occasionally causing a starting problem in the morning, and he had to jump start it. I don't think that's an issue. I don't see signs that this thing was jump started. Usually you can see some kind of marks on the battery cables, you know, the terminal ends or whatever. But anyway, that's another story. But I'm calling this one fixed. So, yay. I'm happy. If you're getting something out of my videos, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys. Tell your friends to subscribe, too. I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.